We will begin with our session. We're going to begin with Sveta, who is the co-founder of Oyat and the founder of Chadari Project. She is Afghanistan's first Schwarzman Scholar, and Sveta has earned a master's degree in global affairs at Tsinghua University in Beijing. Prior to that, she completed her business administration degree at American University of Afghanistan. Sveta writes about the promotion of women's rights in outlets such as the Afghan Women's Writing Project, the Anna May Project, and Star Educational Society's Interstellar Bulletin newspaper, as well as blogging for UN Women. Sveta also volunteers widely with organizations such as Every Woman Everywhere, where she worked on the first ever international treaty on violence against women. Sveta is passionate about women's economic empowerment and eliminating the single story about her home country by representing Afghanistan on national and international platforms and promoting the unheard experiences of Afghan people. This passion led Sveta to create Oyat, the first modest clothing brand in Afghanistan, and Chadari, an online platform created during the COVID-19 pandemic that gives an opportunity for Afghan women to express their opinions and perspectives, talk about their achievements, and share their stories of bravery. So Sveta, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experiences. If you may begin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Evelyn, for the introduction. And I'm really happy to be here among you all. As usual, before I begin my talk, every time I just thank the technology for actually allowing us to stay connected no matter where we are. And it's great to see people joining from around the world, from Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, and it's amazing how we are again, we are in different parts of the world, but then we are connected by technology. So it's always great to be thankful for the technology as well. Yeah, and I would love to share my story. So as we know, the COVID-19 has started, and so in here, it was, of course, the lockdown period was different from different countries for different people. So I'm based in Kyrgyzstan, but originally I'm from Afghanistan, but currently I live here. So the lockdown here started on the March 15th, and then it was supposed to last for 3 weeks. But then, of course, just like in any other countries, it was extended. So it was my first time actually having so much, I had so much time, free time, that I was thinking, what should I do with this time? So I was thinking whether I can get depressed and stressed and just just feel sad about the situation, and just I was actually at the beginning it was not easy because I was reading the news a lot and I was not feeling well during the first 2 weeks of the lockdown. But then I was no, I can't continue like this, reading all the negative news, what's going on around the world, especially in my home country Afghanistan, where of course the pandemic is affecting those vulnerable countries we already had a lot of problems in the country, and now this lockdown making the situation worse. So, or I was thinking, why not turn this into something that work on something that I love. And I also think that, and I also give lectures and talk with people about this, that if you're not out of your comfort zone, you can never grow, you can never learn something. And I think this is this pandemic or COVID-19 is something that made us all to be out of our comfort zone without our without us acknowledging it and doing it deliberately. We're just out of our comfort zone. For example, people started working from home, people are studying from home, and everything has changed dramatically. So we are automatically out of our comfort zone, right? So again, as we say, if you are, unless you are not out of your comfort zone, you cannot learn anything. And so I was thinking, why not use this time to grow and learn something? So again, I'm very grateful for this free time that I had, because I never had this much free time, as I think most of the people have experienced. And I was thinking, why not use this opportunity to be helpful for others, and not to do something or to work on something that I'm passionate about? And why not turn this uncertainty or difficulty into an opportunity? So so that's why I started working on my own project. So what is my project about is, again, because I'm passionate, my passion is on women's rights, on women issues, and especially working with Afghan women, because I'm a women's rights advocate in Afghanistan, and I have worked a lot with the Afghan women. And so, for example, as Evelyn shared in the introduction, like I worked with different projects with the Afghan women, and but I never had something my own. So I never had something that I could share with the world about the Afghan women. So yeah, so that's how I started my project. And so this project. So now I'd like to share some slides where I can talk more about the project. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, great. So, so the project that I started during lockdown is called Chadari. And basically the whole meaning of Chadari is blue burqa. I'm not sure if you have seen, but there's like a stereotype about Afghan women when they hear about like Afghan women, and they immediately imagine like the woman or girl like in a blue burqa. So the whole aim of the project is to so this is the mission of the project, is to expose the world to the voices of Afghan women and to dispel the harmful stereotypes of what it means to be a woman in Afghanistan. Because there was so much misunderstanding, and there is still so much misunderstanding and stereotype surrounding the experiences of Afghan women. So I wanted to create this project to kind of give an opportunity for the Afghan women to share their voices with the world, to share their thoughts with the world, their opinions, what they think about different issues. And so that's how I started this. So one of the big parts of the project is storytelling. So through storytelling, these Afghan women share their stories with the world. And so what I started it with was like the COVID-19 stories, because we are right now in the global pandemic, and again, it's psychologically it's affecting a lot the Afghan women. So I was thinking of giving them a platform or an opportunity to share their stories, and it can also help them to like cope with the pandemic, because as we write down our thoughts, as we reflect, it helps us to cope with the challenges, such as the challenge that we have now. So again, it's a platform that gives an opportunity for the Afghan women to share their opinions, their perspectives, to talk about their achievements, stories of bravery, and it's basically raising awareness. And we will have, so we are having different themes. Right now we're focusing on COVID-19, but then it will change every few months. And another part, a big part of the project is events. So currently that we are in this event is also like also a part of the project in collaboration with two other amazing projects. So the first event that we did was on the 2nd of May. It was about where like the sharing stories of COVID-19. So 5 amazing Afghan women from around the world were the speakers of the event, where they shared their stories, the COVID-19 stories with the world. Again, we had participants from different parts of the world, and they were very interested in hearing the experiences of Afghan women, because it's not there's a need, and there's not a lot of spaces for them to speak about their experiences. And so this is like the second part of the project, the events. And the third is so we also collaborated with different organizations, both international and national. Even though I started this project very recently, again, it's not been even 2 months yet, and but there was so much interest, which again makes me very happy, because it's something that I'm passionate about. It's my passion project. But then when you see people interested in it, then you think that yes, maybe you're doing something good, or maybe you're doing something right. You know, even if at first you were doubting yourself, or you were thinking it might not work, but then when you see interest, so it's motivating. And so we collaborated with different organizations, both national, Afghan national organizations, and also international. And currently, for example, we are working on this project, which is a video project with Corona Video, which is it's a collaborative project where the Afghan women will share their stories, not in writing form as I'm doing currently, but in the video format. They'll be sharing their stories with the world. So what is the project's aim? What is like the whole aim of the project is, again, to dispel the stereotypes about the Afghan women, as I mentioned before. Hearing directly from them will help the world to know more and eliminate some of the stereotypes, and expose to the world the voices of Afghan women, and also highlight the bravery stories of Afghan women from different sets of backgrounds. So it is amazing. Like, I'm so grateful that, again, I started this alone, like being alone, doing everything from scratch, even like making the website. I'm not a tech person. I just kind of not, but like it's something, doing the logo, or like struggling with all these like things. But then I'm so grateful that right now, like we have like a team of writers. So we have 24 writers. We have translators who translate the stories from the native languages, Dari and Pashto, to English, and vice versa. And also we have event management team. So we have people working on events and organizing events such as this one that we are having now. And also we have fundraising team. So another part of the project that I forgot to mention is that we have a fundraising. So we did a fundraising to help some families in Afghanistan, because as I mentioned before, COVID-19 is affecting a lot Afghan families. Most people lost their jobs. Like many people are like choosing between starvation or safety or staying safe, and they can't even afford being locked at home and just sitting at home, not working. So it's been so hard. So I wanted to do something through this project, even though it's not a lot, but even if it has a little impact on like a few families. So we raised $1,350 in 2 days, and we were able to help 19 families. It's not a lot of amount, but for me it was something that I was like, yes, like at least some families were helped, and to prepare to like fight with COVID-19. So that is like the other part of the project. And so again, so far that we started the project is we have participated in different conferences and different events to share the story of Chadari Project, and also about and also again like helping the families and giving interviews about this. It kind of draw attention of people, because again it was like, first it's about Afghan women, and second it was like, again, a project that is born like during COVID-19. Yeah, so this is and these are our social media pages. Of course we will share it in the chat box later as well, that you can follow us, you can learn more, you can read the stories, or you can be a part of it by becoming an editor. So we also have a team of editors who are native speakers and who edit the stories before they're published on the website and social media. And I think that's pretty much it about the project itself. So so if you have any questions, any concerns, anything, feel free to ask, and I'm here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Sveta, for your presentation and for sharing with us your work for Chadari. It's very interesting to learn about the online platform. So thank you for that. I think we will be having a more open discussion period at the end once all of our speakers have finished. So unless anyone has a specific question for Sveta at this time that they want to share in the chat box, I don't see anyone writing, so I think we will move ahead and ask our questions at the end then. So our next speaker today will be Wajahat, and he is the co-founder of Be Brighter, head of HR at Beehive, and COO at ASK Enterprises. Wajahat has always been passionate about creating an organization where people can come together, collaborate, and do great things to give back to their communities. During the global crisis of COVID-19, Wajahat co-founded Be Brighter. Be Brighter is an intuitive learning platform which aims to help individuals to increase their knowledge and polish their skills to be a part of a better Pakistan. So Wajahat, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're excited to hear about your work with Be Brighter and what you have been doing during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Great. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm truly very excited to be here. And I'm going to try my best to share my story and to help inspire you guys and motivate you. So I'm going to start off with telling you guys actually what happened. So I came back from Beijing because I study over there. I'm doing my bachelor's over there. And I came back from Beijing in February. And I was working with Beehive in Beijing. And since Beehive is like a social enterprise, and we have like, we organize events and basically give people the skills that would make them more employable in the future, right? So I always wanted to give my country's youth a similar platform, right? So I always had this in my head. But what is the value of an idea that's just in your head, right? It's nothing. People just don't know how capable you are, right? So you gotta put it out, you know? So what happened was that another friend of mine with whom I co-founded Be Brighter, we've been friends since like 9 years now, right? But never actually discussed any business idea together, right? So I was like, I just talked to him about it, and he obviously was pretty interested. And since he was like, he knows a thing or two about social enterprises as well, he wanted to give back to the community just like me, and we shared the same vision. That's why we decided to start off something, utilize this time in the most efficient and effective manner, and actually give back to the community, right? So like whenever I used to go out for a drive, I would see, you know, as you all know, that the COVID-19 has hit almost all the countries in the world in a very bad way, right? And people are losing their jobs, they're being unemployed, and just facing so many other problems as well, you know, they're stressed out financially, mentally, in every way, right? And so I'm not saying that there was no poverty before, but now you just, I feel like everyone became more empathetic because now everyone's in this together, right? The world is in this together. So people started feeling the pain of others even more, right? So when I used to go out for a drive, I would see people on the road and it would make me feel very bad. I was like, I want to do something for these people, you know, but what can I do, you know? So when the idea of Be Brighter came into action, it was initially like an intuitive learning platform. It still is, but we were like, we're not going to start off like that. You know, we want to do a fundraising event in the start. So that's going to help out people in this crisis, right? And that is exactly what we did. And we thought we're not going to do just one event or two events or three events. We're going to organize the whole conference as our first event. So a conference of 3 days. We had around 16 plus speakers and we had 12 webinars. And we had speakers from like different areas, like different industries. The topics were diverse and they were coming like CEOs of very successful company CEOs and managers. And it was just very exciting to see that when you actually have an idea and you put it out, how many people can actually resonate with it and they can actually, they're willing to share your vision to help you. And basically like, as soon as we told them that this is a fundraising event, so we're not gonna be like making profit out of it. This is like a donate and learn program. So people were very excited to actually donate, and obviously they were learning as well. So it was a very wholesome event. So what happened was that we plan to collaborate with another organization. It is comparatively very established. It's also in Pakistan and it's called Risk. So they do the same thing, that they provide ration bags for poor people. And they've been doing this since quite some years now. And we decided to contact them and collaborate with them and see if they would be willing to collaborate with us and be a part of our conference. And obviously after some meetings, they said yes, and we collaborated with them. So we organized the conference and it was pretty amazing. So all this story is super spontaneous, you know, like we sit with our friends every day, but it was just another day for me, you know, sitting with my friend, but then we started talking about business and we came up with this idea, and it turned out to be so amazing because what I believe is that if you have an idea in your head, you should put it out. You know, don't be afraid of being judged. Don't be afraid of people not believing in you. You know, you should believe in yourself. You know, that's something you should be doing. So I feel like someone's mic is, oh, all right, cool. So yeah, it's cool. So basically I have like 4 key points that I always emphasize on whenever I'm talking to anyone, right? So I always say you need to love yourself, know yourself, be yourself, and then eventually believe in yourself. These 4 points are going to take you places you never thought you're going to be able to go, right? So when you love yourself enough to know that whatever you're thinking, it's worth it. It's gonna be worth something when you put it out. You know, you are capable of doing amazing things, right? You should not underestimate yourself. You know, you should have the confidence to share any idea that you have. You should have the confidence to actually execute any ideas that you may have. Let me tell you guys something. You don't need a very big team. You don't need a huge working capital. You do not need all these resources, right? All you need is the willingness and obviously a good friend like mine. So, so what you have to do is that what I would like you guys to do right now is if any one of you has an idea in your head, this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to do everything that you've actually wanted to do, but could never do for any reason, right? Like I started working on so many things in this pandemic, you know, and obviously I can't say that I'm enjoying my time, like, you know, but I'm making the most out of it, right? Obviously, I can't hang out with my friends. I can't go back to Beijing and continue my life over there, but I'm not letting this time go to waste. You know, I'm not letting this time, you know, basically fail me in any way. So I'm just trying my best to make the most out of it. You know, that is exactly what you guys should be doing as well. This is the perfect time to do anything that you've ever wanted to do. All you gotta do is put your idea out. Tell people about your idea. Tell people about what you're thinking. If you need someone to basically kind of like approve the idea that you have, ask a friend of yours. You know, ask a very good friend of yours who you think is honest with you. You know, and so you'll be amazed to see how many people can actually resonate with your idea, share the same vision that you have, and they're gonna be like, "Well, you really? I mean, are you thinking about the same thing? Because I've been thinking about the same thing as well. So let's do this together." You know, when you collaborate, teamwork makes the dream work, and there is no kidding in that, to be honest. You know, because all right, I've tried to do some things alone in the past as well, right? But there would be a stage or a point where I would feel the need of having someone else, right? Even if it's for a decision or it's for any reason, you know, it's not being, you know, with I was about to say something, but I totally forgot it. But it was something like you can go fast alone, but you can go far with the team or something like that. And that is true, you know, that is true. And I've actually experienced it. So even in Beehive, you know, when I joined Beehive in 2018, I was just like another trainee over there. But because the team is so supportive, you know, and everyone's encouraging each other. So wait, all right. So since everyone's encouraging each other, you know, and supporting each other, I was able to grow over there, grow, thrive, grow into a better individual. Actually started thinking outside of the box, you know, started exploring more possibilities that I could never even think of, you know, like my mind opened drastically. I was like, okay, I can even do this. There's so many opportunities out there, guys. You know, what you gotta do is hold on to one. All right. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't think that you're not gonna be able to do it. Just hold on to an opportunity and make the most out of it. And this is, I'm gonna say it yet again, this is the perfect time to do it, you know, because I believe that if you have the willingness and the ability to do something, you should do it, you know. And this is why I'm not gonna stop myself here with only Be Brighter. I'm actually thinking about some other ideas as well, because I feel like even if I fail, I'm just 21, you know, for the record, I'm just 21. So even if I fail, I'm not feeling like my whole family, I'm just feeling myself. And you know, a failure is just another step towards success. That is what I really believe in, because it's just like kind of like redirects you to the right path, to your direction, to where you belong actually. So just like Be Brighter started super spontaneously, and it became into something very, very popular now. Why I say very, very popular? Because when we invited, okay, let me tell you guys something. We had over 1,500 plus viewers for our conference, 1,500 plus viewers for our first conference in a webinar. So to attract the audience in a webinar is so hard, and we obviously face those challenges, but we gotta give credit to all those people who donated, and were willing to learn as well, because it just means so much to us. And we were able to create a personal brand of ours, we were able to create, we were able to basically tell more people about Be Brighter, and tell them about our vision. And we got like support from so many amazing people, like vloggers, famous personalities in Pakistan, influencers, you name it. And it was just pretty awesome. So yeah, I think this is about it. Wait, what's the time right now? I'm actually just afraid that I don't really talk too much because I'm very talkative, to be very honest. So I just don't want to run out of time. Do I still have time?
You still have 4 minutes. So
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So basically, the whole idea of Be Brighter was to basically give back to the community since the start. Even if it is an intuitive learning platform, we're gonna be posting online courses for a very low price and also for free. So our aim is to basically educate everyone, right? So Pakistan's literacy rate is not like the best, but and that's one of the reasons why we're so motivated, and we're so like, we see that there's a lot of room for improvement, and there's just so much opportunity out here. Like, this is the perfect place to start off something like this, to basically give back to the community. And let me tell you, like, Pakistan has like a lot of talent, and these people, their skills, and they just need an opportunity to show it off. They just need an opportunity to actually create something, of their own. And I believe with Be Brighter, we can provide them with a platform where they can learn, grow, and actually create something of their own. So this is what we have in our mind. This is our mission. And I really do hope that all of you are gonna go and follow us on our Instagram and Facebook. I'm gonna drop the links below, and also, yeah, I guess that's about it from my side. This is all about Be Brighter, and yeah.
Well,
Any
thank
questions?
you so much, Wajahat. Yeah, so we did have one question come in through the chat box, wondering if you wouldn't mind discussing how you were able to process donations for Be Brighter. Would you mind taking a minute to talk to us about your donation process?
Sure. So about the to be honest, I'm not really I completely understand your question, because I want to know if you're talking about how we were able to process it and actually give them the links on where they can donate, or how were we able to motivate and encourage people to donate. That's what I'm a little confused about. So if you can actually rephrase, I would really appreciate.
Yeah, so
okay. Oh yeah,
the
exactly.
rephrasing is there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Kasem. So, all right. So what happened was, as I told before, we collaborated with Risk, right? And so since Risk is doing an amazing job at providing, food and ration bags to poor people, they already had located those people. All right. All we had to do was, as soon as someone would donate a bag to Risk, we would we would give the person those free webinars, all those webinars for free. If you would give the whole donation bag, which costs like 3,500 rupees, then we would basically give 12 webinars to that person. This was how we did it. So we didn't really have to locate all the people. We were working with that organization, and they located all the people. It was a donate and learn initiative. Yeah, it was. That is exactly what we named it as well. Thank you for your question, Mr. Kasem. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Wajahat, for answering that question so thoroughly. So just to repeat for the recorded session, the question was how Be Brighter was able to effectively locate with people who needed donations. And then gathering the donations being one challenge to overcome, but then locating those to receive the donations being another challenge. So thank you for taking the time to respond to that. Are there any other questions? If our participants wouldn't mind asking them in the chat box right now. And again, I'll repeat that we will have a larger discussion period at the end for all of our speakers. And I don't see that anyone is typing right now. So just in the interest of time, I will move forward with our third speaker, who is Lauren Donison. But thank you again, Wajahat, for giving us that impassioned presentation and for your words of inspiration as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, our third speaker is Lauren Donison. She is the founder of Hear My Voice Women's Network. Lauren has worked in the field of social justice and education for over 10 years in Asia, specifically in areas such as prevention of sexual and gender-based violence, legal educational development, leadership, and youth empowerment. Lauren believes that everyone should have the opportunity to share their ideas without fear and with confidence. And she sees the opportunity provided by the international COVID-19 lockdown to create a safe online space for women to come together to speak about issues that are important to them. Hear My Voice is a platform for women to come together from all over the globe to discuss current issues that are important to them in their community. So thank you, Lauren, for joining us today. And if you could please proceed with your talk on Hear My Voice and the experience you've had during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Great, thank you so much, Evelyn, for the wonderful introduction. Also, thank you for our previous speakers. It's a hard act to follow, but I'm going to give it a go. I hope that everyone's still engaged and awake. And again, thank you so much for joining. It's a real honor to be here and for you to join us today. And like the previous speakers already shared, you know, it is really such an honor to have people support you when you've got this idea and you put it out there, and then it's like, wow, you know, this is something that other people are interested in too, and it actually is really powerful to have that feeling. So thank you all again for joining. So I'll also share my screen and tell you all a little bit more about Hear My Voice. So as Evelyn already kindly shared, Hear My Voice is a sorry, just move this out the way and then you can see. Is a platform that aims to bring women from across the world together to discuss issues that are important to them. So my name's Lauren, as said, and so basically I studied law back when I was much younger, and never really felt that it was the profession I wanted to go in. I always knew that, you know, I wanted to do something with this, and never really knew that I never felt that being a lawyer was exactly where I should go. And there was many kind of failures and experiences and different things that kind of brought me to where I am today. And I think that this is really my place where I'm supposed to be. And Wajahat was talking about like failing and reaching a place. I feel like I've reached that place as well, where I'm in a space where Hear My Voice is my dream. It's something that has come from all the experiences I've had, and hopefully now I'm able to give back in my own unique way. As I said, I've worked for many different organizations, and you know, when you work for organizations or companies, I think sometimes there's a frustration of, oh, but are we really reaching the people we need to reach? Are we really grabbing the people that really need the help from us? And so I think that's one wonderful thing about setting up your own initiative, is that you get to kind of lay out the rules. And I think that my experiences have enabled me to now create Hear My Voice in a way that is hopefully effective and able to really reach women that need the support and empowerment that we can provide through our programs. Yeah, I started this idea alone, but I was very lucky that my wonderful friend Evelyn, who is also our moderator today, was willing to join me on this wonderful adventure, and she jumped at the chance when given to join me, and so we've been working tirelessly together. So we both volunteers on this. Our program doesn't make any profit, and we're not actually outputting any money. Um, so we're just volunteers at the moment. We work online. So when we talk about why we set up this, so as I said, I've been working in the field of sexual and gender-based violence, and also regarding legal education. And you know, as you said, many people talked about the COVID situation, and you know, there's many things, obviously, the direct impact of the virus, but then we see these other impacts and people losing their jobs, and people also being, many issues such as being separated from families, but one issue that really stuck with me was the increase in sexual and gender-based violence that was being reported, especially with regards to domestic violence. And wondering, how do you address that? And is this a short-term, long-term solution? And kind of just made me really feel angry, let's say, and I'm really feeling like what needs to be done? How can we create something that could really try to prevent these kind of things happening in the future? And came back to me is that, you know, the power of education and the power of voice. So this idea of then, you know, sexual and gender-based violence is happening globally. It is a global issue, but it's something that is also quite unique to each culture, the way it's viewed, also the way it's responded to. So therefore, you know, maybe directly creating a program for a specific community might not work because we're not part of that community. I live here in Myanmar, and also with the inability to go outside because of the lockdown, was like, well, we need to do something online, and how do we create that? So we decided to develop Hear My Voice with the idea of creating the safe online space where we bring women who already have a passion to work in women's rights, in social justice, and really want to enhance their skills so they can go back into their own communities to try and find local solutions to the issues in their communities. So we want to work with women to share their experiences and learn from each other, and then go back and actually be the ones themselves who know about their communities, who understand their communities, can then work with their own communities to find solutions to issues around women's rights, sexual and gender-based violence, and social justice. So it's quite a big dream, and like Wajahat said, it was a feeling of like, are we trying to take on the world here? Is it too much? What are we doing? But we managed to kind of like focus on what we wanted to do and think, how can we try to do this? And so we set up the network, firstly on social media. So we set up a Facebook group. We used that to share different stories from across the world about violations of women's rights, instances of sexual and gender-based violence, and also just to create awareness about these issues online. We also set up an initiative where every week we find a woman from across the world, and we highlight the amazing work she's doing, and talk about how she's promoting women's rights and social justice in her own local community. And so each week we invite them, they can share either in written, we've had videos, we've encouraged people to draw pictures, but no one's taken us up on that yet. But it's been really nice, and it's been very well received. And the main thing that we're doing is developing empowerment programs online. So we have, we've now launched 2 programs. The second one will be launched this weekend. And basically what we've developed a curriculum that is around the basic concepts for women and social justice. We're creating in-depth discussions around these issues, trying to help women then problem solve an action plan in their own communities, and develop their own core skills. So we launched our applications, and we've had over 300 applications from across the globe. And what we felt like our previous speaker said is that, this was an idea where we're like, oh, will anyone actually want to join these programs? And we've just had this overwhelming response. And it's been, the difficult part of this has been then actually sitting through, me and Evelyn, 300 applications and finding 12 women for each program. And the reason we chose such a small group is because we're really trying to create this safe, intimate learning environment where we use very interactive teaching methods. So it's not a lecture style, it's really students doing, which is also an important, really kind of a niche part of our program that we're trying to work on and develop, because we think that sometimes online learning can be quite impersonal, and I think people really miss the personal part. So we're really trying to aim to create this really nice learning space. And so this is a poster of our first batch of wonderful women from 5 different countries. The second batch is starting this week, so my poster's not ready yet. We're currently recruiting for our 3rd program. So these programs, we meet every week for 3 hours a week for 6 weeks. And then at the end of the program, participants get a certificate. We also open source all of our materials to them so that if they want to kind of replicate the program or replicate any of the sessions in their own local communities, we can support and encourage them to do that. And we also want them to continue to remain a community of women after the program has finished. So encouraging them to stay connected via Facebook or however they wish. So they continue to support each other and share and learn from each other. So I'm going to share this after if anyone is interested. We're also doing online events. Like today we have this event. We had a workshop a few weeks ago. We have an upcoming event where we have a guest speaker who's an international human rights lawyer who's currently doing research on gender-based violence. So she's going to be coming to speak with us on the 23rd. And we're also setting up networks, which will be not necessarily networking meetings, but we want to create a specific network of women consisting of about 20 to 25 women that meet on a monthly basis to share and learn from each other. And a little bit like the program, but we identified that many of the applicants that we had were very strong, already had a lot of experience, but really were feeling this need to connect. And it's been such a beautiful journey to see how, even as a small initiative, how we've identified the needs of people and how we're able to respond to that. Because at first we thought, okay, programs. And now we're like, okay, people want to have these networks. And then we're changing our, not changing our direction, but we're adding on to what we're doing to try and cater for the needs of the audience. And that's been a really interesting challenge. And it's going well so far. And we have future plans and really hoping that the network will continue to grow. We hope that in the future there will also be opportunities for us to do face-to-face trainings and have local facilitators delivering in local languages. So we're kind of trying to make this, you know, as I said, the idea is that we wanted to try to overcome issues of sexual and gender-based violence and abuse of women's rights, and therefore we can only do that if we make women stronger. And I think that the whole project is about empowering women to see and stand up in their communities. So you can keep in touch with us. But I guess, like, as I was saying, you know, we took a risk and it was kind of like, well, we can give it a go. And if it doesn't work, what's to lose, you know? And I think that's an important message that the previous speakers also shared, that, you know, we feel that this was, just give it a go. And I think that it was quite scary, but you know, when you're sitting and watching people apply to the program and you start talking to people in interviews and you feeling like people are like really resonating with what you're saying and really saying like, we want this, this is something that's needed. And you kind of feel like, wow, what if I kept this in my head? Because for a long time, I've had ideas about ways to develop my own programs or own initiatives, and I've never had the confidence. And so this time I was like, you know what, we're stuck here, we don't have anything to do, let's give it a go. And now we have this, you know, beautiful class of women, we have another class starting, and I guess it's just like, what if we didn't do it? And I think that's a really powerful message to say, just do it, you know, give it a go. if it doesn't work, then as long as you don't, lose a lot, then I think in the way of, we didn't have to financially invest in the program. So it was an online space. So I think that's also maybe why the risk is a little bit less scary as well, because I know when you're trying to set things up, you worry about the logistics or finances and those kind of things. And I think that the online space allows you to do things with low or no cost, only your time. So yeah, I think that the message is really just give it a go, and yeah, find a really good friend that also wants to be a part of your project and is ready to be on phone calls to you at crazy times of night because you live on the other side of the world to each other. But yeah, and if anyone has any crazy ideas and they want to reach out to any of us, I'm sure we'd all also be there to support and listen as well. So yeah, so thank you all so much again, and I'll pass it back to you, Evelyn.
Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing your experience about Hear My Voice. And again, I would like to thank all of our speakers for taking the time today to share their experiences about creating something during this unprecedented time of lockdown and creating these online initiatives. I think we've seen 3 examples of very different ways to engage and connect through this time of the pandemic, and it is very inspiring to hear all of your stories. So I really appreciate your time today. And now we are going to move into our discussion period. I also just would like to point out that at the end of the session today, we will be sharing the social media links of all of our speakers. So if you do want to learn more or learn how you can get involved, you will have their links to their social media accounts and websites where applicable, so you can continue after the session. So for this discussion period, I invite all of our participants to use the chat box feature on the Zoom call to ask questions either to a specific speaker or to all of our speakers. And then I will facilitate the question and response. While we wait perhaps for some questions, I did have a discussion question that came up earlier about what have been the biggest challenges, and this is a question that is going to all of our speakers today. What have been the biggest challenges that your respective projects have faced during the COVID-19 pandemic? These can be perhaps challenges that are either logistical or substantive for reaching your mission and your goals. And a second part to this question too is how have you overcome these challenges? So I don't know if one of you wants to begin with this question.
Yeah, sure. I would. I can go first.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Smita.
You're welcome. I think one of the biggest challenges that I faced is because again we started as your platform is also online, and because it's also during COVID-19, and also I work with the Afghan women who live in Afghanistan, and the internet issue. I think, for example, currently we are working on a video project, as I mentioned before, and most of our participants, they were not able to upload their video because it's it's a bit difficult. And so these kind of issues, or for example, some people have not been able to participate in events, again due to some technical issues. So again, it's very challenging to kind of work remotely. It has its own pros and cons, and I think those technical issues were the challenges that I faced. And also another thing is, of course, being in different parts of the world, and when you organize a meeting or something and people are not able to join and they miss some important things. And so I think these challenges are faced by every business which is done online or any other organization. So these are some general challenges.
Thank you, Smita. Could we have the experiences from one of our other speakers as well? Perhaps Lauren, would you mind sharing some of the challenges that Hear My Voice has faced during this time?
I guess it's not necessarily a challenge, but the learning curve, I would say more, because kind of like Sveta mentioned, you know, we're trying to set up something that is a global network. And with that, we're dealing with global time zones and trying to find times to set up the programs that can include everybody and be inclusive, because obviously it's a 3-hour session once a week for 6 weeks. So it's quite a big commitment if somebody's where I'm based in Myanmar and it's the middle of the night in America. It's not very feasible for them to join for 6 weeks in a row at that time. So I guess what we've had to do is then adapt and say, okay, maybe we should now run programs on, like Evelyn's based in Canada, so she's going to run a program on that side of the world, so that then can cater for other women. And so, yeah, so I guess it's just that we've had to, because of the response that we've had, that we've seen that, you know, originally this was kind of something was like, maybe this would be Asia. And then it's just grown into a global thing. So it's beautiful and it's amazing. But then we've had to be like, how do we now respond to that? So we're still figuring it out. And it's definitely, like you said, Seta, something that everyone has to deal with in this space.
Right. Hey. So yeah, so the challenge that we faced was so because we were a new organization and people did not know so much about it, right? And we did not have enough finances to, you know, actually do all the Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, and actually get people to, you know, just follow us and engage. So since our plan was to have a fundraising event, and it was supposed to be an online webinar, it just made it like 2x harder, you know? Why? Because like if it was, for example, if it was a live event and we could actually meet people and interact with them offline, it would have been more interactive, more engaging, and we would have been able to maybe, you know, convince more people to actually go have meetings and do this and that. But obviously we couldn't do that. So it was a little difficult in the start to actually get people to follow us and to, you know, engage us, to learn more about, to engage with us, to learn more about us, and obviously to donate in our for our conference or cause. So what we did to overcome that challenge was that we contacted like influencers in Pakistan, which people who have like a lot of followers on Instagram, basically, right? So Instagram marketing was our main focus. So we contacted people who were like who had, you know, millions of followers, you know, and we were like, this is our cause, and if you believe in our cause and if you share the same vision, then you can help us provide, you know, ration bags for the poor people. So a lot of them agreed. We actually made like a very big email list of all the influencers that we could find, and we started just sending them emails, you know, just contacting them, just, you know, just be like, guys, you gotta help us. You know, we're all in this together, you know. And so yeah, it actually worked. We had like a lot of people making videos for us, you know, posting on their Instagram stories about our upcoming event and encouraging people to donate and learn. So that is how we overcame that challenge, and I guess that was the only challenge that came in our way. Other than that, not a lot, to be honest. Yeah, quite happy that we were able to overcome it and actually have organize a very successful event. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you all of you for sharing your experiences of some of the challenges. Again, you see the differences that can happen, but then some of the similarities too, since all of us are operating online, and what that has meant during this time of pandemic. So our next discussion question today is something that each of you have touched on in different ways during your talk. But I was wondering if you could share with our participants today, perhaps a piece of advice that you would give to anyone trying to create something or to start a project during this time of lockdown. And perhaps, Lauren, we could start with you for this question, and then we will move on to Wajahat and then Smita.
Yeah, thank you, Evelyn, for that question. I guess maybe something that was not said earlier is, to really, to kind of also make the plan. And I know that some people talked about this, the spontaneousness of all of our projects, but I think that there was still a lot of planning that has an intention that's gone into our organization initiative. Um, we we kind of felt that we really wanted to make sure that we did this right from the beginning. So making sure that we did an application form, when we did interviews, and then we also have done like pre and post evaluations of the students, making sure we captured feedback from the students after the programs, so that we can continue, and to grow in an effective way. And I think that's something that is hopefully going to be make us very successful in the future, because we're able to now capture everything we're doing, and then we can hopefully in the future, we want to get funding to make this project more global, and more impactful. And I think that by making the planning and setting up the proper kind of procedures of how to do like pre and post testing and reporting has been really valuable. So I think if you really want to maintain and be sustainable, I think that's something that I think is, from our side, has been really important. Thank you, Evan.
Hey, yeah, so basically, I've already emphasized on it a lot when I was giving my talk, and I would like to say it again that this is the perfect time to create something of your own, right? You guys must have been busy working for other people when the COVID-19 wasn't here. You guys must have been busy sharing other people's visions when the COVID-19 wasn't here, but now it's here, you know? A lot of people got unemployed. Now they're just wondering what to do, you know? And this is the time to create something of your own, you know? Even if you fail, you're not gonna fail too big, right? Because you're in a crisis anyway, right? So it's not gonna basically depress you a lot, or you know, it's not gonna demotivate you a lot. What you gotta do is go out there, take action, right? That's all you have to do. So an idea in your head, as I mentioned before, has no value at all. It might have value in front of you, you know, but it does not have any value beyond that. What you gotta do is give that idea a value, right? The value that it deserves. I'm sure that most of you over here would have amazing ideas right now in your heads that you're just waiting to execute, and you're just waiting for the right time. This is the right time, guys. What else are you waiting for? Just get out of your comfort zones and get stuff done, you know? Just do it, you know? That's what you want to be focusing on right now, you know? If you do not have an idea, then you have enough time to brainstorm, you know? Just think about it. You're winning. It's a win-win. Wherever you see, you're winning, you know? Like, don't think of this COVID-19 as a crisis. Think of it as the most perfect opportunity you've ever gotten or you're ever gonna get, you know? Just think of the huge amount of time in your hands, you know? It's just so much, and the possibilities are endless, you know? Just don't let this COVID-19 get to your head. Don't get depressed. Make something out of this, you know? Make something cool, great, amazing out of this. When you get out of this pandemic, and soon, hopefully, we're all gonna get out of it, you should be having something of your own. You know, you should be claiming that you did not waste all your time, or you did not let the pandemic get to you, you know? You actually kicked its ass. That's what you want to do, to be honest, you know? So please stay motivated, get out of your comfort zones, and go out there and do stuff. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I did. And that's all I have to say about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Wajahat. Smita, do you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the two speakers. I agree 100% with all the things that you have shared before. So again, if you are passionate about something, if you believe in something, you should never, it shouldn't stop you, right? So because I've seen so many people actually thinking about having this idea and thinking about this idea for like years, like don't like overthink. I think overthinking is the problem, because we think about, we are scared also about the failures, no, don't be scared of failure, or like just be a risk taker and just go for it, go for idea. And of course, I've experienced myself, there'll be people who will not believe in your idea first when you will share. But don't listen to people. Just if you believe in yourself, if you really trust your idea in yourself, just go for it and start it, and you will see so many people who will be interested in it, and they will join it, and of course it will help you also. It will motivate you to work harder. And another thing that I want to mention is that during COVID-19 is that like there are always people who are like less fortunate than us, so we should always try to kind of find ways to help others who are less fortunate or who don't have like the ability to do things that we are able to. And if you think that you are capable of something, if you can do something to help that person in one way or the other, in any way, especially during these challenging and unprecedented times, so use this opportunity and just go for it, and just help people. And again, you can do it through a project, through anything. And as our speakers said, like this is like a great time to think of something that you're passionate about, which will also help other people, and which will also help you to feel good about the work that you're doing, to bringing positive changes to people's lives. I don't think there's anything better than that feeling of like being helpful for others. So that's all the message that I have.
Great, thank you. And I have another discussion question here for all three of our speakers. And this is a question centered on how we will move forward after our talk today. And we are wondering, how do you hope to move forward with your projects after COVID-19 lockdown and the lockdown is lifted? We're starting to see some signs of lockdown lifting around the world. And where do you hope to take your projects after this begins? Perhaps we can start this discussion with Wajahat, your thoughts on where you would like to take Be Brighter after lockdown.
Sure. So we've already thought about it, and we are pretty sure what we have to do as soon as we get done with this whole pandemic. So our plans are to actually organize live events where people can actually interact, socialize, get to know each other, exchange ideas, and basically just become friends and do something cool. That's the whole idea. So basically what we want to do is that we want to contact some coffee shops or some cafes, just tell them that we want to have an event over here. And obviously you're gonna get an audience as well. You're gonna get some, I don't want to say customers, but yeah, something like that. And maybe arrange some events in those amazing places. And so the whole idea of Be Brighter is to basically organize events where people can come together, share their ideas, and actually get some skills from the speaker, become more employable, and learn something new. That's the whole idea, right? We also want to I also want to put some light on it that we do not want to stop our fundraising events just now. We obviously did it, and it's the COVID-19, but as I said before, it's not like there was no poverty before COVID-19. So there's going to be after it as well. People are going to be facing a lot of challenges coming out of this pandemic. So we're not going to stop our fundraising events. We're going to probably arrange another conference, but hoping that it's not going to be online. It's not going to be webinars. It's going to be live events where people can come together, donate, and learn. So this is what we have planned for Be Brighter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing your future plans for Be Brighter. It's very exciting. Sveta, how about you? Are there future plans in the works for Chadari, or how are you seeing your project growing or changing after the lockdown?
Yeah, sure. So again, like there's not so many opportunities during lockdown, and especially online. It creates a lot of like challenges, but of course we are trying to make most out of it. But of course, after the lockdown, everything will be a bit different because we are going to launch a Chadari Ambassador program. So people who are involved in this program in their own cities or countries. They'll be like representative of the project, and they will do events, and they will do like writing workshops. They will talk to people about the project and invite people to join and share their stories. So it will be more, again, one-on-one and interactive and more like in person. And I think that's the step that we are going to take once everything will be back to normal.
Great, thank you. That's very exciting, and I like hearing the back to normal. One can hope. Lauren, how about you? Where are you hoping to take Hear My Voice once lockdown measures are starting to be lifted?
I guess like a little bit different to the others, because I feel like that because our program is global, and like our new program that we're launching this week is we have 12 women from 10 countries. So I think even with the lockdown lifted, you know, we're not able to bring those women physically together. So I think the nature of our programs will remain the same, because we want to bring that globalness to the program, because it's all about women sharing and learning from each other. But one thing we have in mind for the future is that maybe we are able to go in country and do specific training with facilitators that want to then use the curriculum to run their own kind of women's empowerment programs at this. And the idea is that also that this is it's a 6-week program, so it's actually kind of more of a mentoring and support program as well. It's not just a one-day training where people come and then they leave. It's actually the building of a community. So we'd like to see that this happens. Currently, our network is obviously in English. We do all our events and programs in English, but understand that we're not then reaching some of the most, say, unempowered women in communities. So we want to hopefully find women in their communities that want to do this program in their local language for other women. So that's a kind of big dream, but I think we're definitely looking at a longer timeline than the others. So, but thank you so much for your question, Evelyn.
Well, thank you all for your answers. It's, again, very exciting to hear about the future plans for all of your projects after hearing your experience creating these initiatives during the lockdown. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of our session today. Unless any of our participants had any more questions, I'm just looking at the chat box here though, and keeping mind of the time. I know we're all tuning in again from different time zones. So some of us are probably going to bed while some of us are just starting our work day. So want to make sure we're staying on track. But yeah, again, I would just like to take the time to say thank you to both our speakers and our participants today for tuning in and discussing these positive spaces that have formed out of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think, again, hearing these stories and experiences of positivity help shine a ray of sunshine on what can otherwise be an overwhelming news cycle. So our appreciation is shared for these positive stories and for your inspiring words and your knowledge sharing about creating projects and creating these online platforms. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I did share Be Brighter's, Chadari, and Hear My Voice's social media contacts in the chat box. So any of our participants, if you want to connect with these organizations after today, please feel free to reach out on any of those links there. And I would like to give the opportunity to our speakers at this time, if you have any closing comments that you would like to say or promotions for upcoming events that you would like to share in our final minutes here.
All right, maybe I can start. So just want to say at the end, first of all, thank you all for tuning in, for being a part of this event, and for actually listening to all our ideas. It's been an honor actually presenting Be Brighter at this platform. Also, I just want to leave you guys here with some questions that I don't want to answer, that I can't answer, questions that only you can answer. All right. So you got to ask yourself after this event today, when you're going to bed or whatever you're doing, whenever you have free time, just ask yourself, what's stopping you? What's stopping you to create something of your own? What's stopping you to actually use this time wisely? You know, is this pandemic actually stronger than you? You know, just ask these questions, do some self-reflection, you know, get to know yourself more, do stuff. All right. Thank you again, and goodbye from my side.
Should I go next? Yeah. So I think I hope you're motivated enough to kind of start your own thing, or maybe if you will not start it alone, like with a team, and but don't be too like. But this session is not something that, oh, you have to start. It's okay. Like, take your time, and it's okay not to be okay during this time, because we are, again, we talked about all the positive things, but of course there's so much going on, so much negativity. So take your time. Like we need time to process all the things that are going on in the world, and don't forget, like, I think one thing that we have to mention is that the mental health is very important. So please, like, pay attention to that, and like, take care of yourself. And if you think that you're motivated enough after this session, please do something, and like, first help yourself, as we mentioned before, because if you will not help yourself, like, how can you help others? So first help yourself by taking care of yourself, of your mental health and physical health. And currently everyone is under lockdown, and just like do some exercise, and do some reading that makes you happy. And I think just focus less on the news, because there's so much negativity. Keep yourself informed, but not too much. Like, don't read too much news, because it can have a negative effect on you. And once you feel better and you feel good, and then you can, of course, there's always a chance to help others and to start your own thing. So I think that's my whole, like, message. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think what I wanted to also say is that, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge project. It doesn't have to be with hundreds of people or thousands of followers. Like, this could just be like, you know, finding somebody maybe on your street that needs a friend to talk to. And I think that's also the power of, like, we talked about, the power of helping, the power of supporting. And, you know, I think that getting you through this space, like, I know for me, like, having this amazing feedback from people being like, yeah, we want to do this, we want to be part of this. It's pushed me to be like, yeah, I need to get up today, I need to go and do these things, and I have all these things to do. And it really inspires me to want to be better and do better. So I think that's kind of also that it's even if it's just one person that you support during this time, I think that's also really powerful to take away. And I think in helping in any way, but really, if you find something that you're really passionate about, then do that, do that and do it well, and focus on that, and yeah, go and do your dreams. And it's not easy, but I think if you keep on trying, like our previous speaker said, I think beautiful things can happen, and unexpected things as well, which is also very amazing.
Thank you, all of you, again, for sharing your passionate words and inspiring words. A lot to think about leaving the session today, and we thank you. So again, Sveta, Wajahat, and Lauren, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you to our participants. We hope to see you in the future, and hoping to see good things from Be Brighter, Chadari, and Hear My Voice. So thank you, and everyone have a great rest of your day or your evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.